Hi everyone, I'm Angela and welcome to Crafting with Angela. Today we're going to decorate the envelope journal. So this is where we finished last week. We have the journal with the cover and the ribbon closure and all of the pockets decorated on the inside, are covered with their initial covering on the inside. What I'm going to do now is come in and actually decorate out the remaining pieces. On the front page I thought it would be nice to put a book plate on it. I just think book plates on the front of journals are really good. So I have a scrap of one of the papers there that I thought was going to go inside it. We can then decide what we want to call it. But I also think that that's quite lost in that background. So what I did was I have this paper doily that I have cut in half. And I was thinking if we stuck it along each side here and then put that book plate on top of that, that would look nice. Now, the other thing I think is that this doily is very white, so I want to come in, cook coffee diet. That always takes a lot of time. So what I'm going to do instead is come in with my brushes, and I'm going to come in with my brushes and my Distress Oxide. This is not about covering the whole thing, but it is about putting a bit of colour into it. And using the brushes I think is just that bit softer than using the mini tool. The mini tool I think is just very heavy handed. I say that as if I haven't made big heavy handed marks on the first one that I did there, but with something as gentle as this doily, I think it's always quite difficult to get colour all around it without ripping it. So I'm just double checking there. I think that looks good. Okay, so that's the doily. Bring back the book. I'm going to glue these down. So I'm going to use again the Burley Art glitter, the Burley Art glue. I'm going to use the Burley Art glue to glue these down, just going along the edge. And then just around the outside edge. These are very light, we don't need a lot of glue to hold them down. I just put a wee dot at certain spots just to make sure they're going to be kept down. And then coming up and putting that in line with where the ribbon closure is. Do exactly the same thing on the other side. Coming in with the bone folder and just rubbing that down really nicely. Okay, then we've got the book plate. It's going to go in the middle somewhere like this. But what I'm going to do first of all is trim a piece. So this is one of the scraps of the paper that we have in here somewhere. There we go. So it's just a piece of scrap from that. And I am just roughly measuring this out so we can get something that will fit neatly inside here. Okay. And then we just need to glue this down. I am not sure if Burley Art glue will glue this down. I'll try it. If it doesn't work, I'll come back in with my hot glue gun. Hot glue gun will hold anything down. So again, just making sure I put that around the edges. This book plate was designed to have, sorry, let me just get a acrylic block to put on. It was designed to have screws, and I have wee tiny screws to go in it, but they just don't quite fit. I'm trying to remember which piece was the scrap piece. They don't quite fit. I can't quite take the back off them yet, so if I can manage to take the back off them at some point, I'll come in and glue them in. But as that stands, I think that just looks really nice there. And then we have our just coming in to darken that down. At the minute, I'm going to put it down with the side with the dots, because I haven't decided what I want to call this. But when I do decide on the name of the journal, I have the white side on the other side, which I know will fit in as well. So there we go. There is our front page, our front cover decorated. Now, I'm not going to decorate the sides which have the pockets in them, because I think depending on what you put in the pocket depends on, you know, how much you know, what decoration you want to put on top. However, I do have some ephemera here, so there's some various bits and pieces here that I will also think about putting on. So as we come to a pocket, I'll look through that pile as well. What you will notice is that for the majority of the things that how I'm decorating this, I'm using this cut scraps of the other pieces of paper that have been used in the journal, and that's just, I think that's a really good way of making sure everything sticks, everything stays matching through the journal. So I'm just going to come in and cut that down. Just going to come in here and put another pocket in. Okay, so we're just going to put a pocket in down here, bit of a gap. The one thing I do want to do, as with all my pockets, just because I like doing it, come in with my circle punch and just cut out a notch. It won't be as deep as the other ones. This is by far a much thinner pocket, but I am going to ink up all the edges here. Inking these edges up takes that bit of extra time, but I think it really makes a difference to the finish, especially when you're trying to make something that looks like a, you know, a junk journal or vintage-esque type journal that you're making. So again, with the pocket, holding it by the notch and coming down the two sides and along the bottom. Putting that roughly down there and using my bone folder to burnish it, making sure if there's any excess glue around the edges that it's been taken up. So what I have for here, let's have a look through these bits. I think if this fits, that's a journal spot. I think that would look really nice in there. And don't want any of the tags with the tops on it. Oh, that's quite nice there. Oh, if I can get that. Don't know that I like that in there. I think it needs to be something different. I do have this pack of old postcards. Again, they're fake vintage postcards. I can't actually remember where I bought them, but what I like about them is you have some really old pictures like this that could be almost any time. So depending on what you want to do, just having a look here. These are more travel. That's quite nice with this station. I think I'll go with that. I'll leave those 3 on the top of the pile in case I want some more for later on. This has already been vintaged around the edges, so we don't need to do anything there. I'm going to throw that in there so you can see it at the edge. Okay, that's the first one. This one, we have a top folding pocket here, so I'm just going to put a band in there and you can see that. And for this side, what I was thinking was of putting a belly band across here. So what a belly band is, if I take one of these postcards, it's a piece of paper, you glue it top and bottom, and then you can put something in it like this to be a journaling spot. But I think this is too wide for what I want, but I also like the idea of maybe putting a lace edge down either side, one side, either side. I have a couple of pieces of lace cut anyway, so what I'm going to do, I think, is trim this down. I think height-wise it's pretty good because it's going to glue down then onto the envelope rather than onto the piece of card that's there. But I think I want to trim this down in half. So again, trusty wallpaper scissors. And what I like about the wallpaper scissors is, for the most part, they give a relatively smooth cut. So that belly band's going to go there. And I am going to look at this lace and see if I put some lace down. Try and work out, do I want it down one side or both sides? You can always layer it over itself here if we want to. Oh, that's nice. We'll do that. So, move that out of the way. Turning the... Actually, before we do that, we'll ink this, because I think, again, we don't want the white edges showing. So I'm just inking the edges here on all sides. Turn it upside down, and then I'm just coming in here and gluing I'm going to do one side and roughly the middle, and then I'm going to line the first piece of lace up like that. Try and keep the lace relatively straight. Okay, come in with this edge. And this time on top of the lace. The second piece. And then going to try and line them up so they are roughly the same on either side. Doesn't want to hold. The first piece I think has been held down okay. Yeah. Oh, let's go and put a bit more glue on, see if we can get this lace to stick down this time. And I'm going to put a line down the edge of the lace as well, because what you don't want to have is you don't want the lace to come up when you're using it as a belly band, because what you'll end up with then is stuff getting stuck behind it. So okay, just giving it a bit of pressure to make sure we've got a really good bond like that. Rub that glue off the mat and then come in with my scissors and just trim down the two ends. Okay. Bring the book back in, and again we're going to glue just the top and the bottom. This time, however, I am putting a good amount, a strong amount of glue on there just to make sure that it's going to hold down. I'm just going to press down on that. And then what we have is a belly band that will allow us to put something behind it, like that postcard. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is make a tuck spot. So this paper, all I want to do is cut a diagonal out of this paper. I'm going to come in from about here, about here roughly. Again with my ever trusty wallpaper scissors. Not exact, but it doesn't have to be exact. I didn't realise I got a bit out of shot there, so the camera had moved. So again, just coming in with my ink around these edges. And we're just going to glue this down like this on the two straight edges, not the diagonal edge. I'm going to glue it on this edge actually. Change your plan. What we have now is a tuck spot. I'm going to come in with another journaling spot and just put that in there, and I said pink goes really nicely with that background. Okay, next page, I think I will I liked the vertical pockets that we did back here, but I'm thinking what I'll do this time is do two of them. So turning this over so I can mark it. So what we're going to do now, put these two in here. I do want to cut the notch in them. Just emptying all those notches out. I want to put the notches in them. I want them to be the same, so I'm going to do them together. Again, like before, we don't want them to be too deep. So before gluing them down, just inking the edges. Now, I have some more of this lace that I used on the closures, and I'm just wondering, would that look nice behind that? I think it would. So what I'm going to do, move this out of the way. We only have a couple of pieces. Oh, we only need a short piece of this, but what I'm going to do is roughly cut it down. I'll trim it down better once we get it glued on. Exactly the same thing as I did before. For the belly band, I'm just coming in . Just trimming that edge down. Okay, trimmed all those edges down. Bring this back in. Make sure that the glue is dried on the back of these, because we don't want to accidentally glue this down so we can't get anything into the pocket. And then I'm just coming in, holding where the notch is to remind myself that's the edge we don't glue. Again, making sure that there's no glue around the edges. And I have a couple of smaller tags here that I am going to throw in there. And I need something for this one, that purple tag. I really like it. I think the colour is probably a bit too strong for the rest of the journal, but when you put it in there, I think it works really well. Okay, so that's the double pocket. I have 2 pages left. Later stage I might come back and decorate this side of the journal, but I'm not doing it at the minute. I'm trying to see if there's anything here I want to duplicate. I like the tuck spot. I think I might do another tuck spot facing the other way. I want to use this paper, but I thought, oh, I do. I was going to say I want to use that paper, but I thought I had a smaller strip. That's the full, yeah, it's like 12 by 3 or 4 inches there, so I didn't want to use it if I didn't have to. So I have got a smaller piece here, and I think what I'm going to do again is there to First thing, I'm going to cut it down this way. Okay, and because this is a longer piece of paper, I think I'm going to go from here to that top corner. Oh, at least I would if I could manage to do it straight. So it's going to be a tuck spot, but it's going to be slightly different looking from the other one. So same thing as always, just come in, ink up the edges. I have some of this lace. Yeah, I think it was good with the it's good with the triangular edge there, I think. Yeah. Let's move that out of the way. I'm doing this with lace. It doesn't have to be lace, it could be ribbon, it could be, so I'm just going to clean the glue out because it's been unstopped for quite a while, so just making sure that it hasn't blocked up anywhere. So yes, I was saying it could be lace, it could be other papers, it could be a ruffle edge, riffraff, whatever you happen to have. So I'm just coming in to do that again. And this time, because there's that line there, I think I'll come in with it from the front and just try and get it to line up nicely that way. Perfect. One folder again. That looks really nice now. And I think this time I'm going to come up directly. Like I said, it doesn't have to be ribbon here, or it doesn't have to be the lace, it could be ribbons, it could be other things. I just happen to think with the colours that I've used in this journal that these ribbons just go really well. So that's going to go a tuck spot on this side. Hold the part you don't want to glue. Okay, and then line it up and come in with the bone folder to give it a good burnish. Make sure you're burnishing all three sides here. Which I think looks really good. Trying to work out if that's too much of that lace on the one page, but I quite like it. But, I think it is. I think maybe I'll put those two tags, and I have Pisa. I think we'll go for, oh no, we won't go for the flower because this doesn't fit in that side. Okay, I have a box of other ephemera I have here. Journaling spots. Oh, larger tags maybe. Well, that tag with the bunny is quite nice, isn't it? There we go. Doesn't have a pull cord on it. I've missed a spot here. Let me just double check. Oh, sorry, I have 2 pages left. I didn't realize I had 2 pages left. So I think this time I'm trying to see, have I this paper yet? Just double checking. So nothing on the front. Don't like duplicating the paper if I can avoid it. Okay, so I did a double pocket there. I don't have a vertical pocket. Let's do a vertical pocket in here with this one, I think. This way. Okay. Again, pockets. I'm coming in with my circle tag to make a notch. I'm going to go in and ink all the edges here. I think I'm just going to stick this, maybe line it up at the edge of that, but have it above and below it, I think. So line it up with that edge, play around just till we get it where we want it, and then I'm going to make sure I have a nice tight bond on all 3 sides. Okay, this is where I'm going to put that bunny then. Oh, doesn't quite go there because you can't see the bunny. That's frustrating. There we go. Maybe this is the part for the piece. No, too narrow. We'll put that tag in there. And this is side pocket, so we'll put the Leaning Tower in there. Okay, that's a bit better now. Just checking where we are up to. Just have the back page to go then, and I'm trying to think what I want to do on the back page. Yep. And this is what I was saying about having the ribbon to tie, because even we haven't added that much to this, but you can already see that it's sitting a good bit wider. Because that, I was thinking about adding other journal spots in here, but I don't think I will. I'm going to add, oh, no, I'm not going to add that because of course that's not as wide a pocket. Let's go back into my tags and journaling spots. Some small journaling spots here. Just trying to see what works color wise. I'll keep that for this one maybe. Put that one in there. Okay, and then take those tags off. And I think, yeah, I think something to put those 2 in. Maybe a pocket like this, but deeper, so we can take more in it. So we haven't used this paper yet, I don't think. Okay. Not sure if that's too deep a pocket, but one way to find out. Let's trim it down initially. Okay, trim that down. You know what? I'm going to put a double pocket on here, but I'm going to do exactly the same things I had before. Cut this the same size and then cut it smaller, so you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm going to cut this down to exactly the same size. Oh, sorry, exactly the same width. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is have one piece that goes on there like that, and then the second one's going to come further down like this. So if we cut it about an inch and a half off the bottom. So they're going to line up, maybe a triple pocket. Let's see. I think that would work really nicely. So again, lining them all up together to do the punch, to do the notch even. Cutting through 3 cardstocks at once is a bit difficult. What I could do, yeah, if I'd used that side of the paper anywhere else, I would have done that there. But here we go. We're going to come in and ink up all of these different edges. I'm going to be quite heavy-handed here because I think when they stack on top of each other like this, you need them to be relatively well inked so they stand out, especially when they're all the same paper. So let's go like this. Make sure we're inking nice and heavily on all these. Don't have to worry about the bottom piece. I am looking, for some reason all of these look like they are skew a bit, but anyway, don't need to ink everything here because with the other two sitting on top of it you won't see it all. Okay, so this is going to look something like that. Okay, so we'll start with the bottom one. Go by the notch. Line it up along the bottom. Line up along the bottom and make sure everything's neat and tidy. Okay. And then what we can do here is stick a full size tag in there. If this fits yet, then a smaller tag in there. Sorry, it's journaling spot now, and then I have a bag of random pieces in here. Let me see, I have a couple of small tags. I don't normally go for small tags. Didn't realise those smaller tags were mostly plain, so I've got a black one or a brown one. Maybe just put this one. This one has stars or something on the bottom. But stick that in there. I get in there with one of those brown ones behind it. And that is, I think, if I tidy up here, stopper my glue. That is the journal completed. Oh, good to know, that was metal and the Burley Art glue held that down. Notice it's slightly off center, but I don't really overly mind about this. So, okay, just got everything readjusted there. We're going to have a flip through of this journal. So here we have the front cover with the doilies and the book plate with, at the minute, it's just a piece of the brown spotted paper, but we could turn that over and write something on it once we know the name. We have a side pocket here with a journaling postcard. We have a pocket at the bottom here with again another journaling spot. This is a full-length pocket with a tag in there, a nice belly band with the lace on it with another journaling postcard. We have we have put anything in this one. Good grief. We have a side pocket there. Let me just find a book. Where's that one? For some reason, that does not want to go. Oh, there's just a bit of glue in there. Okay. Let's put a tag in there. And a side tuck spot there. Again, another pocket with a tag in there. Double pockets here. I don't mind that that one sticks out the top a bit. Here we go, another side pocket with the journaling postcard. Vertical pocket facing the opposite way on that side with a tag. Another upright with a tag in there. This is the larger pocket stroke tuck spot with a couple of tags in there. Vertical pocket at the back, so this is the smaller pocket, which doesn't go into the envelope, with a journaling spot in there, and then a triple pocket on the back with a couple of tags and journaling spots. And that is the book completed.